What's up guys, Ben Melican here, back for Mystery Tackle Box. You know, it's super hot right now. It's the middle of the summer, yet I'm back here catching some fish and stuff that looks like this beautiful cover and habitat right back here behind me. In today's video, the way we're gonna be doing that is actually with an old school bait, one of the oldest topwater baits, but a very famous topwater bait, and that is with this Hula Popper, which has been redone. It's the 2.0 version of the Hula Popper. I'm gonna talk about the different types of improvements they've made with this bait right here, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to get out and fish this bait to catch more fish, especially right now. I'm dripping in sweat. It's 100 degrees outside, and I'm still catching fish on this thing. It's gonna be a good video. So before we start fishing this thing, let's talk some specs and the tackle that I like to throw this on, because it's kind of a specific bait, and we'll kind of get into that when I start fishing it and hopefully catching some fish on it in a little bit. But basically this is just a popping style bait. So this is a topwater popper style lure, and what sets it apart and what's always been great about it is it has this really big cup in the mouth. So the reason that's important is you can hit this bait and pop it, and it moves a ton of water, a big splash, a big bloop noise, and it spits water, yet it doesn't move very far. Now I'll tell you why that's important in just a second. So as you can see, we definitely have some improvements with the color schemes over the old color schemes. This guy looks just like a really bright bluegill or something like that. Comes with better quality hooks, and on the original, the hooks actually used to be screwed in to the bait, so you couldn't swap them out without completely unscrewing the hooks. Now we have some higher grade treble hooks, lighter wire so you can get good penetration on this lighter line, yet we have split rings of course, and this big feathered treble right back here on the back. Now the tackle I like to throw this on, this isn't a very heavy bait. It's only about a 1/4 ounce or 3/8 of an ounce, I think. Isn't very loud bait either. It doesn't have much for rattles. I like that. It's nice and quiet. But the tackle is pretty specific. I'll throw it on like a 7-foot medium, slower action crankbait rod. I actually just saw a fish blow up right there. I gotta hurry up and get through this because I want to get up to casting. And then I'll throw it on a 7-to-1 gear ratio reel in small braid, like 30-pound braided line. Very important for long cast and for some of the tight casts I'm gonna show you guys how to make in just a second. So one reason I really like this bait right here, as I throw back to where I just saw that blow up, is like I said, you can work this bait up underneath cover, and that's one of my favorite places that you throw this bait, is up in these shade lines. That's where you need to be fishing them this time of year in the summer. You know, this is a great pond bait. It's a bait you can get out in a pond. It's not too much, it's not too over invasive in a smaller body of water. It's only a couple inches long, and you can work it about anywhere in a pond, especially in low light conditions. But we're at a lake today. We're at a pretty good sized lake, and this is my favorite way to fish poppers, and really poppers that have this type of action where you hit them hard and they don't move very far. This is my favorite place to throw them in the summer, is shade lines, up underneath trees, different spots like that, where I can flip it up with my rod. And the way I work it is just, you know, really slow bloops. I don't wanna move this bait too far. I want to leave in the strike zone as long as possible. I want to hit that bait hard on my twitch so they can hear it, and I'm just going to let it sit there in their face. Right here is an absolutely perfect place to get out and throw this Hula Popper. You know, the reason for that is we're off the main lake, we're back in a creek, and we got all this shade back here. It's the middle of the day right now, but we have all these shade pockets, both from the canopy of trees up above us and from the overhang trees on the side. So basically when I'm fishing this guy, I'm just going to skip it up in between some of these trees. I actually just heard one blow up right back there. It makes me excited to get even further back in this little cut. But I'm gonna get next to those trees. I'm gonna let it make some noise, and I'm just gonna let it sit there for a second and just kind of repeat that process over and over. It's a slow, methodical way to fish some of these areas, but these fish get really conditioned to seeing people flip jigs, Texas rigs, stuff like that in here. They're used to seeing a bait fall down straight on their face. And then if they see a topwater bait, a lot of times they're going to react to it a little bit differently, and you can get a lot of your bigger bites doing that too. There we go. Right under that tree. That was sick. Not a big guy. Super cool bite though on the Hula Popper. Dude, chill. Like I said, not a giant, but flip this Hula Popper right underneath this tree. Awesome place for one to sit in the shade in the summer. This guy crushed it. All right, so remember guys, when you get out and you're throwing this Hula Popper, if you're in a pond area, I would get out in the morning, pop this guy along weed edges, stuff like that. But if you're doing this, if you're in the middle of the summer, anytime from the post spawn all the way through the fall when it starts to really get cold, this is an awesome bait to flip up underneath trees, and you can get some really, really explosive strikes. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Go hit the subscribe button right down there in the corner. Catch you very soon.